outside of War and Peace, the most important thing a president does is select Supreme Court justices and judges. You know, we're going to have probably over 300 by the end of my first term, which is a record. Over 300 federal judges and Court of Appeals judges, too. So that's a number that nobody thought even possible. And we will have that number, and it'll be all confirmed and done and great. And also Supreme Court judges or justices. And the whole country, it depends on these decisions, which way you go, whether you have a Second Amendment or not. I mean, the Second Amendment would be under siege. If I wasn't here, you wouldn't have a Second Amendment right now. You wouldn't have a right to guns. You would, whether you had it or it was just almost totally obliterated, but it would be in a very different form than you have it now. I've kept it totally as it was, and it's something I'm very proud of. And people, I think it's a real voting issue, a Second Amendment. Life, you look at that. So these judges are going to be making massive decisions, and the next president is going to get 1, 2, 3, or 4 justices of the Supreme Court. I have 2. That's actually considered a lot. You've had many presidents, frankly, where they didn't have. I think they had none. Many of them had none. You know, they stay on there a long time. You don't have many, and they stay on there for a long time. So you've had presidents with none that have been in for a long period of time. But I've already had 2. And you could have literally anywhere from 1 to 4 additional. That changes the entire fabric of the nation for many years. You know, they were on the court for 25, 30, 40 years, depending on the age, depending on what age you choose. And frankly, most of them are young because you want to pick young. You want them on as long as you can have them on. So it's a very, very important thing that's happening, and I felt that I should announce the list, and from which I will only pick. So we had 22 or 23, and now I added 20, so we have about 43, and it will only be from that list that I'll pick, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4. It'll only be from that list, so everyone can look at that list, and they'll be happy or not happy. Joe has to put up a list. This was something that I came up with the last election. I think it might have been one of the reasons for my success in the election, because people weren't sure, who would I pick? And I actually put out a list of 20 and then 25. And I said, only from that list. Well, only from this list and the previous list will I pick. Joe has to come up now with a list. He should come up with a list. Otherwise, people can't vote for him. But the reason he possibly won't is because he's going to come up with far radical left judges. I mean, these will be people that are very, very far to the left, that are, revolutionary in a sense, I think. And he's got to come up with them. I don't know that they're going to allow, because they control him totally. They control Joe Biden. He's not controlled. He's not in control of himself. He's controlled by the radical left. It's a very dangerous part of our society, and he is totally controlled, and he's not going to be able to name Democrat judges that are in the middle someplace or normalized, people that are like normal people. He will be forced to pick extremely radical left judges, and I don't think you can get elected if you do that. If you do what he has to do, which is name the judges that he's going to pick, or the justices soon to be that he's going to pick, I don't think it'd be electable. So he's got a real problem.